All right, welcome everyone to another live trading show with the 5ers. Today it's gonna be me, Victor, with the charts, specifically the gold chart. Really looking forward to this. It's gonna be awesome. Like I said before we went live here, I do enjoy these live streams where it's only me and you, Victor, where we can go through the markets, do what we do best, and just trade live because I think this is where the real education lies, watching us trade and really also, how we think about the trades we're taking as well. So yeah, welcome everyone. And I'm going to
He-
stop
hel-
talking so Victor can say something.
hello. We are live again. I am delighted as well. I enjoy being not only on the markets as a trader, right? I love that's my passion. So if the chart is open and I'm watching, I'm already enjoying. But the fact that we can share that with the audience and we do it together, it's like hanging out, doing things, the thing we love doing. I mean, what
Yeah.
else can you ask for? So I'm always happy, and when we trade together, and also when we stream, because it's trading related. I feel I'm contributing, at least that's my hope. I'm contributing to the growth of traders in the audience. So gives
Yeah.
me good satisfaction.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in the comments as well. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Glad to have you all in here. So the idea here is that now obviously, like when we look at gold, so if we would approach gold from the exact same way that we're always approaching the markets when we're trading, because let's be honest here, we're trading in a way where the way that we're trading on these live stream are not always going to be the exact same way that we're trading, our bigger account or our personal account. Sometimes we want to kind of switch it up, not only to challenge ourselves, but also to show you guys new perspectives and new ways of trading. So, for example, if I would have pulled my chart up here for gold, you'll see that like I'm watching this and it takes me about 10 seconds to say, yeah, right now I don't have a trade. Well, actually I do have a trade. It's probably like if we do get a trade down to this level right here, I might actually take a sort of like a swing trade here. But most of the time I'm looking at gold and I'm going to be like in the first 10 seconds, yeah, okay, I don't have a trade here. I'm going to check it tomorrow, you know? But today we want to be live trading gold, and the goal here is, at least for me, in the first 30 minutes here, the goal is for me to enter a position. So
Okay.
I'm going to have the approach where if I have to trade gold, what would be the trade? And for that to be possible for me, obviously,
Bef-
I want to have to go into lower time frames and kind of look at structures and try to plan
before
ahead
you
here.
before you hit the trigger, um, there is, for everyone else, as well, who is trading today, there is high impact news in 10 minutes. ADP, that's the employment, not NFP, but ADP, which is before. Typically it doesn't move the market very much, but it can. It is a vital metric of the economy, so it can. And anyway, it is high impact for everyone who is trading the high stake program with the 5ers.
Yeah.
And we do have, on in about 25 minutes, another high impact news, employment cost index. So we have two, in the next 30 minutes we will have two, and at the end of, maybe, after our show, there will be another one. So keep in mind, guys, this is, there's a lot of, it's this is the news. They create the opportunities, but you have to be aware that there is an influx of volume coming into the market. The spread typically, widens for a little bit, and it can wick, especially in gold, which we will be trading. Gold can gap up and down, and leave you in disarray if you're not accounting for those kind of moves. And so if you're trading today, be mindful of that. The most conservative way is to wait for the news to come out and then trade after the news by avoiding that whole volatility peak. And if you're already in the trade, make sure that your stop are safely away, that your stops are not uh, nearby, thinking about gaps. And the other thing is, if you're going to be trading within the news, mindful that your stop loss may not be where the market gets you out, right? So be mindful of those things. Risk management comes first. Profitability or the profits is something on a second chance. First, we need to survive, and then we make money.
Yeah, if you can entertain the audience with your amazing analysis, I will get
Sure.
some. I'll go get some coffee. If so,
All right, no problem.
I'll be back in just a minute. And yeah,
it'll be my pleasure, of course. Yes, what we I can talk about a little bit, since we're going to be trading gold today. As Jonathan said, we're this is like, if I have to wait for my signal, which is very, very selective, chances are many days go by and I don't get a signal that I can show right before, during, after on the stream. So we will I too need to adapt a little bit, take another kind of signal, another kind of entry and approach to the same concepts, so that we can give you guys a little peek, right? Peek into how we think, how we approach, and what's our thought process as we look for the opportunity, pull the trigger while we're in the trade, right? What's our mindset? How do we go about the emotions going up and down with the P&L going up and down? Do they affect us? Those kind of things. In short, giving you guys the good example. At least that's the intention, right? We're not perfect, but that's the intention. So let's start with gold. I see there is in the chat a lot of interaction. We like that. Let's see. On gold, we start. We'll take a quick look on the monthly just to give an idea of what we've been doing last couple of months. It's completely bullish, right? Completely bullish. There's no sign of any bearishness in here. All the candles are green, and not only green, solidly green, big candles. If we go to the lower time frames, to the weekly, what do we see? We see without going into a detailed analysis, top down, just to the immediate past, right? The recent past, I should say. What do we see? We don't see any on the weekly, any structure of significance. We are in a supply area on the weekly, but it has shown us in the past that it's not really very strong, because price had very little difficulty of violating for quite some distance, right? But anything other than that, we don't see anything. On the daily, what do we see? Now things start to get interesting, because now we have some structures we can use to get an entry or to get an idea what the market wants to do, right? So in the recent past, we had a bearish order block, only by a little, but still it was valid. And we are now retesting that. I know it is a counter trend. If we're going to take a signal from here, it's a counter trend move. So do not be a hero to think it's going to way below, but we are on the daily, so it can give us plenty of run to go with. So we have a daily order block above us, and we do have a bearish, or a bullish, I mean, below us, which is basically the range I'm trying to catch, right? So if I'm going to take a short, if the opportunity arises and I get that opportunity to go short, that would be my TP will be related to this order block, because that's the on this time frame in any case, and I'm trading this daily order block, or at least I'm trying to catch the move that comes from this daily order block. I want to be taking the trade off at the next structure in the opposing direction, right? As I very frequently tell you guys. So this is the idea right now. To me, the higher time frame, we could be seeing, it may not happen in the coming 2 hours, right? It may not happen in our stream, but if I do look at the daily, I want to be looking for a possible reversal in this order block, and we're already in it. So we are, that will give us some opportunity. All right, so if we look at that, we will see that if I consider on the H4 quasis, and I do have a quasi with the neckline here, it broke the neckline and went even lower. I drag that fib right to know where the 50% retracement is, and that's up here at this area. I don't have any 4-hour, right? I don't have any 4-hour structure to tell me that where price could bounce off. What I do have is 2 entry order blocks, but they're way above that, and they're outside of this order block, which was the idea that I started off with. So these entry order blocks are not relevant right now to me, not today, and of course they're far away from current prices, so they're not, I don't have to worry about them. That's something for later. What I do have is, so since I don't have an H4, I cannot use the signal on the daily as a daily signal. I can still use the order block to know where price wants to go, but I won't be using it as a signal. So what do? If I go to the lower time frames, I can identify another quasi, and this is where things start to get interesting, right? We have this, it's not perfect, but it's you guys realize I'm trying to do it quickly. That's the uptrend. It breaks the neckline and goes all the way down, and now it is retesting that order block, right? So that's my entry order block on the H2. So we do have a entry, an area where I'm interested. So what I will do is go to this let's see, this area, mark it up, and that will be my area that I'm interested in getting a short, right? Since I'm thinking the daily will make price go eventually at the end of this day, right? It will make price go lower, or it has a good chance of doing that. If we go to the 1 hour, I don't have the same structure, so it's only a H2 quasi, but still, that's something I can use, and it's in the same direction as the daily, so I can use. I already have to align 2 time frames, although it's not ideal, but I have 2 time frames that tell me where it could reverse from. And now that I have that, what I would do is I could just wait for the H2, right, to form something that indicates a reversal, like an engulfing, bearish engulfings, and we already see one here, right? Or maybe a bearish pin bar, and we're currently almost printing another a pin bar. So those are possible signals. But what I would do is I would go to the lower time frames and wait for. By the way, there's the news coming out in 2 seconds. There we go. Let's see how the news. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but one of the reason I didn't do it was because of the news. And then knowing gold can do big wicks and take me out before I really even started. So this is the area that I'm interested in, looking for that reversal pattern. And we could be doing it. Normally I don't use the 15-minute, but we could be, this is the area. Let me get that out of the way. This is now I don't have an entry, but this is the neckline that was broken on the 15-minute, but we don't have an entry here. So that wouldn't be able to produce me any signals. So it doesn't matter. That's the one that's the tightest. If I take perhaps the 30-minute to get some more information, let's see. I do see this being the neckline on the 30-minute. I think I don't have yes, I do have a template for that. But what I still would want to see is the head being formed and then breaking this, right? So it hasn't done that yet. And then I'm going to take my entry when it comes back. And maybe that's a possibility. I'll be looking for that. And if not, I could be taking it on the lower time frames. But I don't want to be taking on the lower time frames right now, just because what I said at the beginning, we have news, a lot of news in these coming 2 hours. And if I get on the lower time frame, my stop will be, very tight and probably inadequate, most likely inadequate to withstand the volatility, that comes in with the news. Let's see.
But I made such a
What else?
rookie mistake. Like it's almost embarrassing. I went short on gold. I'm like, huh, that
Okay.
is weird. Like the position size is weird. Profit is weird, and structure looks a bit different. And matter of fact is I was actually short silver, not gold. But yeah, made $10 on that one. But now I'm back to gold. Wow, that is such a rookie mistake. So sometimes double check that you're on the actual chart that you're supposed to be trading. And maybe if your position size looks completely off, maybe that's because you're using a stop loss for another asset. But what I was looking for in terms of in terms in terms of short, this is want to show you guys here. I'm looking at the 1 minute right here, and so we can start by looking at the 15 minutes. So we're obviously in this range right here, and is low time frame range. Not a lot of things are happening, but if you look at 4 hour, I do have a general idea that I want to see price pulled back down here. So looking at and by the way, guys, news trading is not allowed for so when you're on the high stakes account, we do not allow news trading. There's a rule that says how many minutes before and after is it? I can't remember. Is it for 2 minutes
2
before or
minutes. 2
yeah, so
minutes.
2 minutes before and after. So there's a window of 4 minutes there where you're not supposed to be trading. You can of course trade based on the moves of the news after it actually happens, and you can also open a position, a couple of hours before the news, and then if the move that happens based on the news hits stop loss or hits TP, that's not going to affect your account. And also trading inside this news window will not completely terminate your account. But if you make money trading the news, that profit will be deducted from your account. So it's a soft breach, but if you make money, that will be deducted from your account. The whole idea here is that we do not welcome gamblers. We want to fund traders that are consistently profitable, that know what they're doing. We're not interested in funding people that come in and try to gamble the news moves. That's if you're interested in that, you'll have to find another firm. Basically, we are looking at funding traders who are interested in being long-term profitable trading outside those major news events.
Yeah, and if you think about it, we try not to incentivize or stimulate news trading, right? Or make it as not attractive as possible, but or unattractive as possible.
But by the way, I'm
But that's
just I'm short
okay.
here, so I sorry if I completely got caught off guard here, but what I'm looking at here is obviously we're looking at the lower time frames as sort of a range, quite quite the boring market right here, and I have my high time frame bias to the upside. I'm basically looking for a possible move down here to that level. So with that in mind, I'm looking at the low time frames, and I'm thinking that we have some sort of range here, and we have a a level area that kind of goes through here is what I'm watching. In the middle of that level, you have that one on the 50 minute. And then if you go down to the 1 minute, we had sort of like that first reaction to that level right here. And that's the idea that I traded based on. Now I'm going to exit this position if we get something like this. And if we break down here, I'll take profit, somewhere down in this region. So it looks like we're gonna get a start off by getting a loser here. It looks like, and if we do get a move above this level, then I'd be looking to go long here up to that level. So what I'm doing here is I'm just basically trading the 1 minute and looking at levels where I can trade basically is level to level. So right now I'm going to be closing that trade right there, and I'll be looking to take a trade if it either comes above that one like that, or if we break down like this, because you can see that even on the 1 minute structure, price is respecting horizontal support and resistance, and it's much easier to see when you pull up the line charts. If we add just horizontal levels on all of these major peaks, you'll see that here, for example, you have an area where price has reacted to. You can see right here. So you have a pretty nice reaction right here, and then a breakout here, and a nice bounce here, and that rejection to the downside. So if we get something like that, we can assume that price is going to have some sort of reaction to that level if we come back and retest it. And we also have, of course, this level below, where if price comes back down to this level, that's the level that we're looking at on the on the 4 hour as well. So if we see a, well, actually this is on the, yeah, no, that's the level. So if we do see price come down here, I'm looking to take longs. So basically I'm trading it's the same way as I would trade the higher time frames, but just applying the exact same idea to the very low time frame.
Yeah, what I was going to say a little while ago was that the news. What's important for everyone to know: the news of restriction, they only apply to the high stake account. We have two other. If you want to have that possibility to trade, to open the trade, because that's what is affected by the limitation. It's only the open of the trade. You're not allowed to open the trade 2 minutes before, up to 2 minutes after the news event. You can close it with no restriction, no problem. But if you want to have that possibility to open it in within those 4 minutes, then you can choose another. We have for every trader we have a program that fits you. So that could be the boot camp or the hyper growth. So the news restriction only applies to the news, to the high stake account, just so it's clear for everyone.
Man, with this price action right now, it's looking very messy. Now this is very difficult to trade.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger, and the reason is that I do have we do have an area where price has been having some kind of difficulty to break to continue higher. It's consolidating, but it hasn't really shown me that there is a clear break of structure yet. There is on the 15-minute. Let me show my screen. There is on the 15-minute. There's this structure that was broken. I mentioned that on the 15-minute, but we don't have any order block, any structure in that time frame to be trading from. So that makes it a little bit difficult. And if I go to the 5-minute, I don't see, right, I don't see the structure either. So I'm a little bit hesitant. To me, the fact that the sellers didn't come in at this high, because basically what I'm saying, when I put the neckline down below here, what I'm saying is that this is the left shoulder and this is the proposed top or the head. But one of the characteristics of the left shoulder, the head, is that the side, or the sellers in this case, since it's a bearish quasi, the sellers need to come in convincingly, right? And they did so when it got here. That price action I like. But when it formed the head, at least in this time frame, it did not show me, it had one bar going up a lot relatively. Let me zoom that in a little bit for all our viewers. I'm going to zoom in all the way into the bars as I read the price action. This bar is very bullish, right? There's no doubt about that. But how did the sellers come in, right? How did they defend, the sellers defend this area with small, or at least smaller body? It took it 4 bars to reach what the buyers did in 1 bar. That doesn't seem to me that they took control, right? So that's what I want to see at the left shoulder, the head, and to make it a good quasi. So I'm not convinced that this is the head yet because of the arguments just mentioned. It may still be, but this doesn't attract me as a it doesn't speak to me as like a good quasi, right? The better ones, they have a clear reaction as it forms the top, right? And if you can't see it on this time frame, maybe on another time frame you'll see it. In this time frame, I don't really see it either. Maybe on the 3 minute, right? On the 3 minute, there is a little bit. This looks a little bit better, but yeah, that looks a little bit better on the 3 minute. But I would like to see it on, since I'm not using, optimal alignment. I want to see that on multiple, not only on the 3 not being very. I would like to see it on the 5 minute as well. And what we see here, we do have an area that was already invalidated, right, by these tops on the 3 minutes. So that's, I will leave it there, but it is already an area that, so this is only on the 3 minute. But as I said, I don't like the quasi on the higher time frames, and I would probably wait, sit on my hand, and to see something better. If it is going to go, it will let us know. I do not need to, rush it, or, force, go at the first little hint of selling pressure. No, it should be obvious that it turned around, and that hasn't, at least to me, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's going to go without me, or maybe, who knows. I'm just waiting to see what, what the market wants to do. The other thing is, right, if this is
Let me. I
indeed
just want to
the
jump in here and show you guys
okay.
the long I just took here. So I on the 1 minute here, you can see that we had this bearish candle right here, but then what I really liked was the fact that we came down when we hit that real-up zone, printed a pin bar, and then around this, this move up, it looked like we were going to get that breakout. So I went in here, and I'm looking to take this trade up, and I wanted to bounce here. So around this area is where I wanted to bounce. If we get lower, I'll close it. But I'm looking to, again, we had a range here, right? So I'm looking at taking profits around, uh, basically around these range highs area right here, which I think is more visible on the 5 minute. But this is honestly, guys, the way I'm trading right now, the way I'm, what I'm doing right here is just I'm trading in a range that I wouldn't even look at normally. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to show you
No, no,
that one.
that's
Go ahead.
no, that's it's nice, because since we're doing things live, we need to, it's not scripted what we're doing, so we need to have those interruptions, which are not really interruptions. But there we go. Look at that. If you don't know if you guys saw that
Oh,
move,
yep, I'm out. I'm out here.
that's
I'm out, as you can see right
okay.
here. What news was
That's the
that?
news.
Because that was the news. Okay, so that
Yeah,
means I traded the news. I am screwed on that on that one. But
but
look
it's
at that
the
wig
restriction
and
doesn't
the
apply to you, right? What program are
yeah. But
you?
I'm on hypergrowth. It's a good
So
one.
they don't apply to
Ah.
you.
I got
Wise of
well
you.
I do have all accounts. I do have boot camps, I do have hypergrowth, and I do have high stakes. I do, however, think that the account that I'm trading on right here is should be a hypergrowth. So what
Okay.
I'm doing here, guys, is I have multiple accounts. I have a copy trading platform I'm using. I have multiple accounts. This account it's a real account, but I'm kind of playing around with it. I'm trying. This is the account where I'm trying new things. I'm not taking trades like this on my my master account. This is uh, another account that I'm using. Again, like watching me trade like this could be beneficial from an educational point of view, because I'm still looking at the same structure that I'm using in the in trading. This is a good comment by Henry. Yes, the reload zone is not invalidated unless there's a candle closes below the reload zone. So you can see right here that there was a wick and then the candle closed inside. Now, of course, if the wick is like way all the way down here, then that invalidates it. But then you'll see that the wick didn't come below this one, so it's still at support. And then what I'm looking at is the candle structure. So you can actually see that if you take the wicks into account, it's actually like equal lows right here. But then you look at the structures of the candle closes, you'll see that it's actually a pretty decent uptrend if you remove the wicks. And again, you can also see, you know, this move right here, that wick went straight into the into that reload zone as well. So yeah, I used to love trading the reload zone like this on the lower time frames. It's surprising how well it works on all time frames. Actually, it's quite amazing. I think this one as well, if you move from like that one to this one, you'll see that you have like a bullish engulfing here on the reload zone as well.
Jonathan, I'll be right back. 1 minute.
Yes. John Wick the Remover. John the Wick Remover. I think that's better. John the Remover of Wicks. John. Okay. I'm not gonna continue doing that. Whatever I'm doing. Okay. So what like? I think we picked the absolute worst day to be trading gold. Like literally the worst day to be trading gold. Look at the structure right here. Not only do we have like news, but look at the 1 hour. This is ridiculous right here. This is, you don't see this every day. Like, but of course, the day that we're going to be live trading gold, this is the structure that you see. This is every trader's nightmare. You know, you look at the 50-minute. Yeah, sure, there's volatility, I guess, in the lower time frames, but this is just this is real indecision right here. Yeah, just like Alex said, true undecision or indecision. Let's call it undecision. This pattern right here is from now on called the undecision.
Yeah, it's the market being in balance, basically, right? Because both sides are not able, none of the sides are able to break out and have a direction. So whatever the
Could we say that gold is efficient today?
At least in during these candles, I would say yes, because the value is fair to everyone, right? It's the value.
Not to me though. I've been stopped out once. Well, I did have a winner though, so I don't know about fair, but I'd like to see gold much higher. I don't value gold this low. But yeah, this is super complicated to trade, guys. This is super complicated to trade. But you know, we do have obviously volatility coming in right here. And we have clear boundaries of this range, which means what I'm seeing here, you know. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at something interesting. I'll show you guys right away. Let me get my screen on top. If we zoom out a little bit, right, on the 1 minute, it's just like on the bodies, it's a perfect consolidation, right? The bodies, they interchange each other. I think Alice called this barcode, if I'm not mistaken, because it looks like the barcodes on products. But what we see is the horizontal yellow line, of course, is the lower boundary of the area of interest. That's one thing. When price comes to that area, what we want to see is a deceleration, right? So the bars on the bullish bars need to become smaller, and at least the bearish one should not be as big or as small, the same size. They should be either equally or start to become bigger. And there, in this couple of few bars, we see that it's almost perfect, right? Both of them are getting a little bit bigger from the first one, right? And so in here, right, from this candle to this one, I would say it's in very good equilibrium, right? Very uh, even out both sides. But what we see in this time frame, which is the hourly, that the bars are clearly different. Not only that, the wicks are on the top side, right? So that's the first beginning. We could be seeing a reversal, because what forms those wicks? Those are the sellers coming in, defending apparently some structure above us. And if I go to the 2 hour, we didn't get to that analysis, but if we go to 2 hour, we do have a bearish order block. It's very small. It may not be as significant as in other times, but it is at the relevant area, which is, where did it form? It formed in the area of interest. So in that sense, it attracts my interest, that this could be, if this is defended, right? The order block is this, right? That engulfing, forming this order block. Price came back to it, and we're not, at least currently, we still have 22 minutes where it can invalidate it, but so far it was unable to break that structure. And if I go and see if we have a quasi from that point, right? So from this point, do we have a quasi? I don't see one. Let's see. Well, yes, there is one, which is, you could be considering that, this being the quasi, right? So simply put, right, that's the schematic of the quasi, a higher high, breaking that higher low, but there's no entry order block in here. So it's still is not giving me those signals to get in. It doesn't so I still don't have, and but I do like to see the fact that we have, we're starting, at least now we're starting to, getting those wick. You want to see that, because that's typically, it's meaning there are the selling pressure is accumulating. So far, if you look at the market structure on the lower time frames, in the 50-minute, it doesn't look like a quasi, right? The left shoulder, sorry, this is supposedly the right shoulder. The right shoulder should elicit a strong reaction, just as the left shoulder and the head, and it's not really doing that. There are some wicks, but it's not. It doesn't look like it is it has good reaction. So I'm still on the sidelines, to be honest. I haven't pulled the trigger, and I will wait to see for more information. Do we have? I would still think that it needs to trigger. It needs to tap into liquidity above us before it starts forming that reversal, if it is going to. Because always, with every setup we take, you have to not forget that the setup may not work out, right? So you always have to have that scenario in your head. Maybe this isn't going to go reverse and react as I'm expecting from this area, from this area. Maybe it's going to break it and continue. And if it's going to do so, then it makes sense that it's not forming those structures as I would like to see them. At least that's how I approach the market. And yeah, what do you say, Jonathan? It doesn't look like it's breaking down.
No, it looks like it wants to continue higher, and Tommy told me to put the volume profile on here for the whole day, and I did. And very interesting, we got the point of control right below. Like we get a very good interesting area here where we have the point of control of the volume of the daily range. So basically, this is the daily open and the high of basically the low and the high of the day. Which is very interesting that we have the point of control right here in this area. And I wanted to just touch on the fact that like this is cool. The volume profile tool is very interesting, very nice. I really like it. I like using it on Bitcoin a lot. But the thing here is, what you guys are seeing here is basically the point of control going through this horizontal level right here. And then you have a massive gap in volume right here, which is the reason why you have a gap of volume right here is because you had that move up. And the only time the price has traded within this gap is that move up. So what you have is one gap from that resistance and then another gap. You can basically just create a horizontal line around where there's most volume right here. And then you can do the same with this area right here. You can even do something like that. And then you have an area up here as well. So what you're doing is, and what I'm the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because either you use this indicator or you're just good at finding horizontal levels. Okay, this indicator and adding your horizontal levels. If you're good at adding horizontal levels, it's the same thing. You'll find the exact same thing. And that's the thing with indicators. Whether you are using moving averages or Bollinger Bands or whatever, you will find the same things most likely. It's just other ways of deciphering price action. So price action is always price action. Price is price is price. Okay. So whether you have an indicator, it's not going to show you anything else than what's already in price. It's just you put on different glasses, you have different lenses to view the same thing. So a lot of people out there, they're saying like, what's the best indicator to use? I don't know, like whatever indicators make sense to you because they're almost all the same. We can find the same information while looking at market structure and horizontal levels. We can put a volume profile tool on. Now, there's a slight difference between, of course, moving averages and the volume profile tool because moving like works differently, right? But the general idea is, of course, that most people that trade, the break and retest stuff and moving average, they obviously want to see that retest also happen on a horizontal level. Like very few traders trade a bounce on a moving average if it means buying high time frame resistance. So there's always this idea of market structure and horizontal levels. It's interesting. It's very nice to look at this volume profile tool, but is it going to help you in your trading? Well, that's a serious question you have to ask yourself. Will this help you, or can you just add horizontal levels? And that's the reason why you see me trading with very you see me trading with naked charts and use horizontal levels, and from time to time I'll be adding the fib, because all of these indicators, I know how they work, I've tested them, and they show me all the same thing. Like my setups, that they're looking the same no matter what no matter what I'm looking at. And yeah, that's if it's helping you, it's helping you. But what I'm saying is one indicator is not better than the other. There's no one indicator that's the best indicator. There's only like, you have an indicator that you like because it makes sense to you. Some people are going to be trading with the Bollinger Bands, but then some people will be trading with EMAs with the same settings that you would get on the Bollinger Bands. It's just that it makes it easy for you to understand price action through that lens. And that's why, a lot of people trading ICT, because ICT makes sense to them. I'm not trading ICT because it doesn't make sense to me. Um, with that said, remember, guys, to hit that like, because what I will be doing, if you guys manage to get to 200 likes on this live stream right here, I'll promise you, I'll bring on the CEO, Saul, not tomorrow, but next week. I'll bring him on for a live scalping session. And guys, you don't want to miss this, because this is the master of scalping. He's on the on the 1 minute chart, is trading discretionary, and very, very few people can trade, big account on a 1 minute discretionary. So you guys want to see that. And then, of course, because the CEO of the company, if you have any questions on the company or the firm or whatever, that's a great live stream to come on as well. So make sure that you do click that like button.
Henry disagrees with you completely. He thinks the man indicator is the best one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, that's the best one, but we're not supposed to share that, you know. That's our secret, because alpha decay is very real. If we share that enough, the edge of the indicator is going to go away. But what I'm seeing here is actually gold. I'm seeing a breakout. I feel like there's a breakout coming here.
It is trying to, for sure. It is testing that H2 order block that I just showed, which is very, very. It is this structure, very, very simple, very. So it is right now in there, and actually, it's quite. That's the next test for price, right? I like to simplify things by putting price to the test, and what I mean by that is if it is if it formed, let me get this out of the way for a little bit. If it had formed, it has formed a bearish structure, like in this case on the H2. What would it need for it to balance that out? Or I'm not talking about negating and invalidating. Of course, invalidating, it needs to close above that line, right? Because that's the order block. But what does it need to do to not invalidate it? Before you invalidate something, you can balance something out. And what it needs to do is close above this area. Let me see this one, because if it does that, and that it needs to do in 12 minutes, if it closes above, you'll have the on the same time frame a bearish and a bullish structure created, meaning the market is in equilibrium, right? Both of them can break out and move the price lower or higher. So if it does that, that's a reason for me to, that's indecision for me to wait a little longer, right? So I'm waiting for that test to see if it's able to close above. If it is able to close above, maybe I should wait a little longer. Maybe this is not the area that's going to be used, because apparently the market can't decide which way it wants to go. But if it closes below, right, that's a point in favor of market reversing to the downside. So that's something I use, how to that I use to read, the tape, read what is it telling me, all those candles, what is it, what's the narrative, what's the background story it is trying to tell us. So having said that, let's look at the structures. I still don't see a proper area to be shorting. I want to be shorting. That's the area, this is a short area, a supply zone that I want to be shorting. It is respecting it, or it is reacting to it nicely. I like that, right? See how this is the lower border of the order block of the area, and it has a first time around, it did have a reaction, and now this presumably could be the left shoulder, although we don't have a on the 15-minute, we don't have an entry order block. It is reacting, um reacting as you would expect from the order block, but it's not on the lower time frame. It's not giving me that entry that I would like to see. So I'll wait, see, maybe with a test, see if that's going to give me some clarity as to what price wants to do next. What I do see is this, and that is something I don't like, is that the consolidation area, right? I'm going to use the same tool I use for my order blocks, but this is to highlight an area, right? This consolidate. Let me choose another uh, color. Let me use a perhaps a, yeah, maybe this could be okay. Right, let me use this. It's not a possible entry, but this consolidation, right, is higher than the previous consolidation. I don't like that, right? That sounds bullish to me, right? It's building up, consolidating on a higher place. If it keeps on doing this, it will probably break and go higher prices. So I don't like seeing that, but we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. I don't have a clear idea where exactly what direction price wants to go yet. So we'll have to wait for that.
Yes,
And
very
about the
very.
indicators,
Yeah.
About the indicators, I of course I agree. The indicators are a they are the glasses which through you look at the market. But basically, you're looking at the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at price, and either you use volume profile, you use order blocks, or you use EMAs, or what are they? They're all derived from price, so they
Yeah.
should, come to the same conclusion more often than not, because they're based on the same thing. So the endless search for the best indicator is waste of time. You just have to find something that resonates, as you said, resonates with how you are and how your strategy, what your strategy tries to capture in the market. And I do have, if I have one indicator that I can recommend everyone, and someone in the chat already beat me to it, it's the, have a guess, Jonathan. Do you have an idea
Oh
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know exactly. It's ATR.
Yes, yes, yes. I, I
Yeah.
I like that indicator. It doesn't tell you, it's not the same kind of indicator as others, right? It's not on the screen. It's a number that is
Yeah.
produced on each candle by it's ATR is the average true range, right? It indicates what the average range has been in the last couple of bars. That can be the daily bars, can be the 5-minute bars, can be any bar you want. But it gives you a good reference based on data, right? What to expect from next session, from this session. And if you couple that with, your strategy, with, supply and supply and demand, you will be able to, strategically enter at your level, right? The ATR doesn't tell you where to enter, but if you enter, if you get a signal, you will and you want to keep that for the rest of that bar. Let's say it's a daily bar, you want to keep that. You can, in advance predict or have an idea of where that low of the day will be based on the ATR. And if you can use that to your advantage, and I do that all the time. It's I would say it's maybe one of, I would say the best one, but one of the best one. But it's not used as, as an entry signal. More like what's realistic, what's the probable realistic place to put your TP. And you can use it for other things as well, for your stop loss placement, by using that same information, like where is it not likely to reach based on the ranges of the candles. So let's see. I don't. The market is not at all making any moves. I don't know about
Yeah.
you,
I don't
Jonathan,
think.
but
I
this
think
is
we have to. I think we have to look at something else. This is just ridiculous. Maybe you can answer. What's the name of the ATR indicator? What indicator are you using? How do you find the ATR?
it's the average true range. You can use it in the. You can look it up on. Let me see. Let me open that up. I have it here. You can. This is the settings I have. I have it at 14, but I have multiple settings, and you get it. I Let me get this. The indicators. So ATR. Just put in ATR. You get it at average true range, right? That's the indicator you can use. There are many variation of that. I wouldn't know the difference, and I'm sure there are some difference, but you don't need all that fluff. Just the original ATR is good enough, and you can find it on your. It will be on the. It will come out as a window, a separate window, right? And when you hover over your price, over your candle, you can that vertical line will be touching the graph, and if you read to the left, you can be able to read. You will be able to read the reading on that. For example, for today, let's take a how I would use it for today. Let's say that maybe that's a good idea. Let's see.
Yeah.
Today's we had, what's the range of today, right? We are in the daily time frame. So I just measured the high or the low to the high or the high to the low, right? Currently, it's $21.60. That's the range of today. And the question I ask, and the ATR helps you, is what the ATR tells you what is the average range in the number of candles that you put in the settings. In this case, I put in 14, right? So it takes the last 14 candles and average gives you an average. That's basically what it is. So if you take it here, it would be, let's see, the average range right now is 3362, right? 3362. So that tells us if price is going to have an average day, and whether it's going to be doing that or not depends on catalyst, or if there are any high impact news. There is tonight interest rate by the FOMC, by the FOMC, by the committee, by the Fed. So this day may not be an average day for gold, right? In all fairness, but if it were to be a an average day where there aren't any big news, or if they are, but there were no big surprises, then you can assume that the low of the day will be 133. So that's going to be here, 33.62, if I'm not mistaken. So that's about here. If you read the price, that's 23.91.99. I'm going to put a line there, right? It doesn't have to be very precise because it's an average. And if I take the same value, right, the same value that I read on the indicator, 3362, and I measure that from the low to get my possible high of the day, 33, uh, around this level. So, right, so that's going to be 2437. 2437, and we put a line there as well, right? So based on the ATR, it gave us, if today is going to be a average day, that's the condition, then these lines are indicating the upper range where the high will be or where the low will be, right? As the day is progressing, you will have an idea which side, you will have a good idea which side is going to be, winning, right? Is it going to be higher or going to go lower? ATR doesn't give you a direction, just gives you the range, right? But if you know that if it is going to go up, and it is a average day, then this is a very likely place where it will put in its high of the day. So if you go to the lower time frames, and you have, let's say you have an entry signal on this structure, right? And there's still enough time during the day, so it's not at the end of the day, but it is, let's say, uh, at the beginning of London, or early on in the day, then it makes a lot of sense to have your TP at that, you know, possible high of the day. Because if you're right, and the reason you're taking this long from this area is because you think it's going to have a move to the upside. So if that is going to be the move of the day, then it is most likely going to take that, or going to go very near that high that the ATR is giving you. So basically, you can know in advance how far the price could run during that session. That could be, and you could use that on a 4 hour as well. The same thing I did on the daily, you can use it on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour. I use it on the lower time frames as well. When I have to, take a decision within an hour, need to choose: do I leave it on or not? Do I have to close it in the next hour? Where is it likely to go in the next hour? I use the ATR for that. So I think, I
This
would
is
argue that's one of the best indicators. But then again, there is no one single best
okay. So
indicator.
I feel like I really wanna try this. But the ATR, I've always been very interested in the ATR and how I can apply it to my own trading. I haven't tested it though, but I think I would love to have. So the levels that you added on TradingView, there must be an indicator out there that automatically adds those levels as horizontal levels, right?
Yes, I'm sure there are. I haven't looked for them, because the reason is because I trade from my MT5, and that's my main account. It's actually MT4, and I
Yeah,
already
but it
have
would
it
be, but it would just be so much easier to test it, because I do all my testing and everything in TradingView. So it would be much easier to test it if we can actually find an indicator where we don't have to add the levels on my own. So what about, I found this one. It's called ATR bands. I mean, wouldn't this be the same? So this is the daily, but it looks like this is a much higher, much bigger range.
I will
So
have
there
to
must
check
be
it
some
out.
settings.
I will have to check it out to see what is it. Maybe it's for swing traders, because you can use
Oh,
the
that's
ATR
the,
for
and this is the ATR band scale. So I think it should be on. Uh, it
on one,
should be
perhaps.
1. Yeah.
Hmm.
Is
And
that
what do we have on the upper, on the green value there?
the green
Let's
one?
compare them.
The green one is around the 24.52.
That's a little bit higher than what I have, but we're getting near.
What do
Perhaps we
you,
need to fine tune it. Well, what I just did gave me 24.37.
4.37? Yeah, that's way lower.
Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah, we need to definitely take profit scale. Oh, this is like got take profit and stuff. So if I put that at 1, it should put it lower. No?
Well,
Weird.
you can build a strategy based on the ATR. You can
You know
use it
what?
for your
I'm just gonna code one. I'm gonna create one. I'll create one.
if you let's say you have a signal, and you could say, okay, I'm going to target, my TP will be one ATR H1 or one ATR H4. And the beauty of it is that it it because it is taking the ranges of recent candles, automatically you will be adjusting, the TP will be adjusted for the volatility. As volatility is getting bigger, your TP is getting further away. And when volatility is low, automatically, because that's what the ATR, it's a metric that reflects volatility in the market, because volatility is what makes the range go wider and smaller. So I like that in a lot, and you can use that as a TP. You could have a mechanical system for your TP based on the ATR, and the same goes for your stop loss. And actually, that's one of the traditional ways to get your stop loss in swing trading, right? Because when you enter, you can have your stop loss at 2 times the ATR. That's a very common rule, away from current price, and 2 times the daily, of course. That's on a very large scale for swing, but that's one of the metrics people use for stop loss as well. And as soon as market moves a certain number in your favor, you can move that closer to your entry.
Yeah. I gotta do some. Yeah, I gotta do some work
Um,
here.
Henry says the ATR might change with the time frame. Yes, it depends on the time frame you are. But when you have an indicator, and you can use that it will only, you will fix the time frame in the code, right? So it only
Yeah.
uses the daily for the calculation of the levels, and regardless if you switch to a 1 minute, you will still see the same levels based on the ATR. So let's see what I can say. In the meantime, uh, the market is still having difficulty with that structure on the H2 on gold. It is respecting it. I'll show
Let's do
my
a
screen.
let's do let's do a 10-minute break, and then when we're back, maybe gold has broken above this range right here, and while we have the break, I'm gonna get some more coffee, And yeah, let's do 10 minutes, and we'll be back soon.
All right, 10 minutes it is. See you in a bit.
All right, we are back. We are back. Make sure that you get those likes up so we can show Saul that you really want him to get on the live stream. We're currently at 124 likes. Let's get that number up. Yes, we are talking about gold. And while we had a break, I was hoping that we were going to get a breakout during the break, but no, nothing is happening. We're still in this 5 minute range, even though we've had news events, we've had a lot of different things going on here, but it's crazy that we're not getting a move at all here for gold.
I'll show something that I think is significant.
Yeah.
The let me change this to my screen. What we, of course, the market is going sideways. There's no information of anything else. But if we look at the higher time frames, we have closed a bearish engulfing. So we have a new structure, an H4 order block that was created, and so when this happens, what I would like to see is price coming back into it and take that, look for the reversal in that area. So that means from, let's say, I'll change that back to in a time for, let's say about, that was what time? That would be 17 minutes ago this candle closed, right? And from that time we could be start looking for the reversal. So 17 minutes ago, that would be this line. There we go, here, right? So this line, that's where the H4 order block was created. And after that move, we can be start looking for a reversal. And the reversal, of course, if the four if this 4 hour H4 will be respected, then we can have a refinement of what. Let me move this away. So we have the only two horizontal ones visible. So this is the area that I adjust that area, right? This is my area of interest right now because I have fresh information. H4 recently closed, telling us that this area apparently, for whatever reason, the sellers are taking control in comparison to the previous candle, which is these two candles. So that's what made the engulfing. So now interesting for price to come into this area and tell me or tell us that it wants to reverse. Either it can form a quasi, right? Or we can look for that quasi has, if that quasi already formed, right? Let me get that straight. Maybe we can look for that quasi in here. And if I do that, um, there is a quasi, but there's no entry on the 5 minutes. So it still doesn't give me a signal, at least not in my typical way. What I could do, right? My strategy is, waiting for that signal, waiting for market to really tell me what it wants to do. But if I still, for whatever reason, I need to be in, for example, to show on the stream, then I would enter and put my stop above that area and target the structure below us, right? The relevant structure, which it would be on the H4, right? That would be a trade that I could take without having lower time frame reversal confirmation. Of course, doing that, you'll have my stop will have to be much wider, $4.31 more or less, depending on where exactly I put the stop, which is, I think, not too bad for gold. But it's still, if I were to take this on a lower time frame, of course my stop couldn't be much lower, because I don't need to be, you know I could have it above the head, which is, and let's say I get an entry somewhere there, it could be a fraction of what it would otherwise be, like 3.2. So that 4 isn't that bad at all. So that's I think new information, but it still is lackluster, to say the least. There is market doesn't is not doesn't seem to be wanting to go impulsive. And of course, that makes all the sense in the world, because we have, interest rate by the Fed given in 4 hours and a half. So all the big decisions, right? All the big buyers and sellers are waiting for that decision to come out before they pull the trigger on their trades. So that's why gold is not moving as much. Of course, we were hoping that we'll get some fireworks for you guys, but that's not the case today. At least not yet. Maybe it'll happen. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think we'll get anything here from gold. This is
maybe I can share my views on euro dollar in the meantime, since
I was thinking we could look at something else, and I think we do have some moves on EU, so that would be interesting. Yeah.
All right, let me go back to EU, and I'm not going to go from the monthly and the weekly, just go from the daily. What do we have? We have a structure. Let me start with this one before, where price came in from the weekly structure we had above, came into that demand zone, which is the reason, right? Why is price moving up? Why is there a bullish candle? It's because of this order block, right? And it didn't react. It didn't show a quasi in that and on those 2 days, previous days, trading days, but it still eventually moved up. We have this order block. It wasn't a order block to have a signal on, but it's still an order block. So it's still, you could use it for your bias or your targets. What do we have? So it did its job. After that, we are now showing, right, but haven't printed yet, showing a bullish engulfing. So that looks good. But now we are retesting a bearish order block, right? It was created on the 29th, and today is 2 days later. So it's very fresh, completely fresh. So we could be looking for a reversal pattern in here in this order block for either today or tomorrow. And that would mean that if price reverses from this area, you could catch that move down if you're able to identify it, and if it occurs, of course. On the 4-hour, we do have a let me see, do we have a quasi? Let's see. For some reason, I took it off. It is below the 50% retracement. So this whole order block on the daily is not a quasi on, cannot be a entry order block on the bigger quasi. So that's not something that we could be using. Let's see if we have, and it's not a fresh either. So we don't have a signal yet. So we still need to wait for price to come in this area and create that H4 signal. That hasn't happened yet. What we do have is let's see, we do have a 2-hour quasi with an entry here. Is that correct? Let me read that if that's correct. Yes, we do. So the my neckline would be here. And but hold on, we have, is this, no, it is correct. It's not because we have an equal high or very equal high, I'll have to check on different price feeds if it is the highest and it is equal high. So that makes this an inferior quasi, but it's still a valid one, where this is the entry order block on the H2. So that makes sense for price to come in. We still need an H4 though, to be honest. So that H4 is not there. We'll have to wait for the H4 to signal, but we already have an area where the H2 is telling us this could be the area that we will be testing. And that could be, let's see if that's possible today based on the ATR. I'm going to check. Well, actually, let me do it on the on the screen with you guys, right? Because we've been talking about the ATR, right? The ATR for EU is 45 pips right now. So I'll do the same thing as I did. I pick it from the low because I'm interested can it reach that area that I just indicated? Can it reach it today, right? Is it within the realm of, possibilities? Let's see, 45 pips. So that makes this around here. 45, that's going to be 51.7, 51.7. So let me mark that 51.7. That's the 100% ATR on EU. And you can already see that this is the area on the ATR. That's 100% ATR. And the area of interest is significantly higher, is about 51 to, well, about 10. So that's about 20% above. On a normal day, I would say that doesn't seem like very likely to be hit. But today is not a normal day because we have the Fed setting its interest rate or announcing its interest rate decision, and that makes it that it's quite possible. Actually, if price gets into this area today and it forms a reversal or some sign of reversal, that's a great area to be shorting from. You don't want to be doing it blindly because if it's in the spike of the news, of course, you want things to slow down a little bit. But if it gets there and has a reversal rejection pattern, a pin bar, and engulfing on a time frame that is high enough, not on a 1 minute or 3 minute, not even on the 5 minute, but something in the realm of 30 minutes, perhaps 1 hour, right? I know it's at the end of the day, so the likelihood of that, you don't have that much time. But if it were to happen, that could be a great area to be shorting from, because what you're doing is you're shorting the lower time frames. Let me get you're shorting the lower time frames. There you go. And let's say you had that kind of in there, you got your signal, or maybe a little bit lower, and because you are shorting the daily, right? I don't have it as visible, but you could be targeting the daily order block below us, right? And if I mark that out, actually the recent one would be this, right? The current date. That's if it closes. It hasn't closed yet, but if it closes in engulfing, which is quite likely, if it does, that would be my TP. So I would put my TP right in front of it, and let me mark that as a TP. It doesn't show because I have on the daily, I have it as invisible, so it doesn't obstruct our views when I'm showing things. But that would be my TP. So that means I can adjust my TP, and this would be the kind of trade you could be taking if those things align. Remember, we are retesting a daily order block, bearish one. It would be at a 120 more or less percent the daily ATR, so stretched out, and it needs to confirm by forming some kind of rejection candlestick pattern, or a chart pattern can be as well, right? Reversal pattern. Quasi is only one of them, right? You can look up different reversal chart patterns and use them on a lower time frame, of course, so you can see them forming. And if it does, this is a very viable but setup to be taken. Keep in mind though, do wait for the reversal, for the confirmation from the reverse. Don't take this blindly, because we don't know, how bullish this is going to, if this is going to continue or not, right? So you want to see it reverse as it gets into this area, right? Either by having a wick revert, coming back, and in there forming a quasi or some other, and then moving back down, maybe for tomorrow or maybe the day after. That's on EU. That's the interest. That's the setup that I'm seeing on EU. Other than that, I don't have. Oh, there's something else I want to show. We Today is the last day of the month, right? So today's the last trading session, the 31st of July. So today we will get to know if price will have another bullish engulfing on the monthly, right? That's significant. And you have to pay attention to the monthly because the monthly is, king. If the monthly is very bullish, doesn't matter what the daily and the lower time frames, even the weekly things, it's going to go where the monthly pushes it. So we have a bullish order block that was formed before, and today, to the end of the day, we will see if this will finish as another bullish engulfing or not, right? And the odds of price going up or down from this point depends on that occurrence, because as the same way we are looking at this, everyone else is looking at this. Does it form? Does it engulf or not? And if it does engulf, that means others will be bullish and market will be having a easier time going up, and vice versa. So it's quite important to look at how the monthly closes today, and that's the other thing I wanted to share. So I'll be discussing this on Discord today as well, as we usually do on the workshops we hold in our community, in our Discord community. If you're not part of it yet, you're missing out. You're missing out because we have on every weekday, we have sessions just for you, focused on your growth, on your development as a trader. And we do everything we can to help you out. So, yeah, you're definitely
Definitely.
missing out if you're not part.
Yeah, you can go to the 5ers, go into your hub, the new hub, and then you'll see a link to the Discord in there, so you can just go in there and join the Discord. Definitely highly recommended. We got loads of live streams in there, I believe on a daily basis now.
Yes, every weekday.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
weekday we
So
have. Mhm.
I think on EU, I'm going to show you my ideas that I have here on EU. So I just want to mention that we had Henry said that we're testing the reload zone right here, conflict with the 50 EMA. So that's a pretty good a good indication here of potential. Whoa, wait a minute, we got gold. Something's happening on gold. Ooh, look at that. We're actually starting to potentially break out here. So if we add a level here, we'll see that in, oh yeah, it could just be testing range highs here. Yeah, we're still in the same range. I'm gonna be adding another alert right here. So what I was saying on EU was this will not be a trade for me, but it's definitely interesting because you have price coming up into the short reload zone. It's with the 50 EMA right here, and then stochastics are assigned the 4 hours above 70 as well. So it's quite interesting. But if I would short this, I would have to just take profit here. So I'm not really sure about that one. On the on the daily, we also bounced on the 50 EMA right here, and stochastic RSI is in the buy area, and it kind of feels like we're hitting a support area here. So we can look at the line chart. Let's remove these levels. I don't think they're very valid anymore, but there's definitely something to be said about like this whole area that we're in right here. So I'm looking at EU and I'm thinking that we might actually, like, to me, there's a possible long forming here if we, on the 4 hour, if we get something like this, say we come up and test these highs. So that's where you wanted to be shorting this if you have a rejection. But if I
Mhm.
see something like this, then I would be potentially looking for long, because this also means that on the daily, like we might close daily bullish engulfing like this and then start moving higher. So to me, EU looks interesting for long, but I'm probably not going to take that trade because it's not perfect. It's not what it's not the best, not the best looking setup. I want to show you something though that I think was a really good setup. Close this one. Close this one today for a small win. but this is I kind of feel like I should have kept this one open longer because it's just such a perfect level. It's a daily, it's a weekly support as well. And then we had a daily bullish engulfing candle. So daily bullish engulfing candle closing above that level. We also have here on the 4 hour. So this is what I showed you guys yesterday, where we had this structure here. You also had a sort of a retest here on the. If you look at the 1 hour, you have a beautiful retest on the neckline here on the 1 hour. That retest right there. And if you look at the bigger picture, it kind of looks like you have a downtrend here down into the weekly support, and now you're breaking out to perhaps start an uptrend. We are, however, right now testing this resistance area, and that's why I wanted to take profit when we hit that, because this is the FTA, right? But I think this is actually a perfect example of the trades I'm looking to take, and a perfect example of my trading style. Look at a weekly level, and it took me obviously a long time for this level to get hit. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 weeks for this level to be hit. But that's also one of the reasons why I'm looking at a lot of pairs, because I can wait 6 weeks for NCD cat to hit a level, but because I have 40 other pairs that I'm monitoring as well. So trade setups like this one won't come along very often. But if you have a big number of a big list, a big watch list, then obviously it's going to come along more often. And
That you
I
mentioned, 40 pairs.
yeah.
You're trading,
So
and those are including other assets as well, or?
yeah, so right now I have 41 pairs in my watch list that I go through every week.
I see. I think you have some crypto in there as well, right?
Yeah, I got Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that's
Yeah.
it. That's the
Okay.
major and the minor. It's the the majors, the minors, and all the crosses between them. All right, now we got gold moving. Yeah, I mean now it's actually peaking above that one. Let's look at the 5 minute. Well, now we're kind of starting to see a change of behavior here, because if we close this 5 minute candle above here, then this would be the first time. Yeah, we have a completely change of behavior here on gold. If we close this 5 minute candle, it would be the first bullish open and close above this level. Now we got 1 minute left, so it might just turn into bearish candle. We never know. But if this 5 minute candle is closing like this, then
It's
I do
bullish.
think we have, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, it's,
bullish. But
it's
then you
looking
look,
bullish.
yeah, and yeah, it definitely looks bullish. So it looks like we're getting that breakout that we were waiting for. So I'm gonna, let's see.
Maybe I can show my screen, but the same thing we're talking about, just in another perspective, right? We did have a 3 minute quasi, having this as the head. That would be the left shoulder, and these two yellow lines were the H4 that just formed, the recent one. And I said, if it is going to use that H4, this is the area it needs to form, right? In this area, it needs to form its reversal pattern. And we didn't well, we did have one entry order block, but that was invalidated before that H4 formed. We only have this one, H3. So to me, as soon as it invalidates this order block, the setup is gone. That's the market telling me that it does that which was a possibility. It reversing from this area can no longer happen. It will maybe happen, but not from this area. So, and when I see this, when I go to the lower time frames to see if is it starting to decelerate. Is it starting to decelerate? No, it's accelerating, at least right now. If I go to the 3 minutes, I see a outside bar, bullish outside bar. So that's a sign of bullishness. It doesn't sound like it wants to be reversing from this area. If it is going to to reverse from this area, you want bearish structures to be forming. So you want those bearish order blocks, those bearish engulfings, those pin bars, those outside bars, all of them bearish, telling you that, you know, this is a hurdle that it will not be able to go through. Let's see the 1 minute. 1 minute will give us the the quasi line here. So this is the line, the neck of the line, the break of the structure for this move. And as you can see, it's not stopping. So that's why I wait for my confirmation, because if it doesn't show me it wants to reverse, then it's not going to reverse, right? It's not going to do magic. It has to start decelerating first and then forming those bearish structures, and then on subsequently on higher time frames. So first on the 1 minute, the 3, the 5, etc., and then eventually you see that on the 15-minute. And it's not doing that. There's that one first pin bar, but that's flimsy. Keep in mind that we need to be watching the 3-minute, because this is a 3-minute quasi. So a 1 minute quasi is nice, but it's not the relevant time frame yet. So we want to be seeing very older order blocks and structures on the 3-minute at least, if not on the 5 or some higher time frame. And on the 3, there's nothing bearish yet. So that's how you sit on your hands, and you distinguish, when to trade and not to trade. It's not because there is an opportunity you have to go after it. It has to line up with the rest of, the price action, the rest of the tape reading. I think that's very important. That's something, a hard lesson I learned the hard way.
Yeah. So I'm in I'm actually in a long here, so I'm basically going trading this breakout. But we're gonna cut the live stream a bit shorter today, because I do have a trader interview, a very interesting interview that I got with a funded trader. I'll show you my trade here though. So this is the long on gold, trading that breakout. So the idea is to trade it up to right below the wick of this candle. So with this breakout here, now obviously I'm thinking that we're gonna come up and we're gonna test this level up here. This is what I'm thinking. Visibility. Yes, I think with this breakout, we're probably going to go higher. Well, if we go higher, I think we're going to test that region above. So that's going to be that breakout, and then it got stops below this level, and then also we have a level here where we also broke out. So you can see if you look at the 1 minute, there's a higher low right here. So I would like to have the stop loss like below that low. And then if price starts reaching maybe this level, I'll move stops to entry and just let the trade be.
Nice.
All right. Victor, anything else you want to share? I saw a comment here that if there's a video where you describe the ATR, but I'm sure that we can continue talking about the ATR in a future live stream and break that down.
Sure. I can for sure talk about it and prepare some key things I would like to show about it, how to use it, and where the value is. Because to me, in my opinion, it's, if you have to choose an indicator, that's my first choice to know to use. Let's look at my screen before we go. We had a very quick reaction. It's nothing yet. It's just a ghost because it hasn't closed. It's not a closed candle. Remember, that needs to be printed. But that's the kind of reaction you want to be seeing. That's the first little thing we saw from price as it is within this area of interest. A little reaction, that's not enough, but that's more of what we want to see. We want to see, sellers coming in by the numbers, by the large numbers. But I'll be watching this, and yes, I think that's it for today.
All right, awesome, guys. So next week, we didn't get to 200 likes, but I'll see. I'll see if Saul still want to get on. So hopefully, I'll be able to get Saul the CEO of the 5ers, on for a scalping session. You do not want to miss that. So we're setting up lots of interesting live streams next week, and I'm also planning another giveaway live stream. So make sure that you do join the look at gold is continuing looking very, very good right here. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to start moving my stop loss up a little bit. So yeah, finally we got to get a trade here on the breakout. And I think the lesson here, guys, is you want to be patient. Like when I started this live stream, I said like I want to get in to trade, and then I said like, but
At the
this is not
beginning,
really.
you said at
Yeah,
the
exactly.
beginning of the stream,
Yeah, so I want to get in the trade here. I'm going to try, but the thing is, like, this is a lesson in patience here. Like, the best trades are obviously when this tight range is breaking, and if you have that bullish momentum, if the overall structure looks bullish and range is breaking to the upside, you have a lot of reasons to go long. On a like, and I also said like on a confirmed breakout like that one that we just had on the close of that candle. So yeah. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta plan for the interview that we got. So I'm gonna do the interview. We're gonna edit it, and then we're gonna put it on YouTube. It's gonna be a really, really cool interview. I'm sure that all of you are going to be very interested in watching that. All right, guys, thank you for joining this week, and I hope to see you all in the next week's live streams as well. Thank you, and take care.
See you guys Monday. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content